Hey Lucy Squad, so we are ready for another toning session, and remember, as your trainer, it's really important you promise me that you do a quick little warm up first, even if it is just a minute or so of marching on the spot. And then from my tone every zone, the zone that we are toning today is all about the booty. Okay, so you need to be lying on the ground. You're going to have feet on the floor, knees bent, palms facing up. And we're just doing 20 of these where all I want you to do is simply push your hips up as high as you can and then come back down. I'm not using a mat, but I do recommend if you're on a wooden floor or on a hard surface, definitely use a mat. If you're on a carpet, then that's fine. If you haven't got a mat, a towel is great. So we are just pushing the hips up really high. I want you to feel this in your glutes as you do. So really squeeze that booty tight, especially when we're at that highest point, and aim each time to get the hips up but really high, pushing that up. That's good. Squeezing that nice and tight. Well done. Keep all the weight through your heels. Try and keep the weight off the toes. All right, so for the next position, you're going to come over onto one side. So take your time to come into that position. That bottom leg, you can have a slight bend in it. Top leg is about 6 inches off the ground. And all I want you to do now, we're going to do 20 reps of this. You're just going to bring that leg in front and then squeeze behind. Now, what is really important when you're doing this, again, I always say to you, engage your abdominal muscles, but they are your kind of anchor for balance. So that's why it's really important. You always keep those core muscles pulled in tight for me. And with this exercise, I want you to make sure you are bringing that leg in as far in front as you can. Don't just take it halfway, literally bring it as far forward as it will come. And then this means now we're really going to be toning through that booty. We're going to get that nice lift and keep that going. That's good. So that full range of movement. So we squeeze behind, then bring it all the way in front. So you're aiming to get your toes in line with your hips. And the leg isn't that high off the floor. It's only about 6 inches off the ground. That's good. Coming in front and then back. All right, so this time now, we're going to come onto the hands and knees, and then you're going to come down onto your forearms. And this time we're doing 20 of these. So we're just going to kick that leg straight up and back down. Again, 20 reps, tummy stays tight. Focus on where you're working. So we're working through the glutes. Lift that up and back. Keep the toes pointed as well for me. And again, always make sure you're lifting that leg up as high as you can and then lower. Lift it up and back down. That's good. Lift that through and back. Keep thinking of that area that we're toning. We're lifting and sculpting. All right, so from there now, we're going to come back down to that first move, that bridge. So you're going to come onto your back. You have your knees bent, feet firmly placed on the ground, your palms facing up. Now push those hips up as high as you can for 20 reps. So imagine you're trying to get your hips to touch the ceiling. This one, squeeze it up and then lower it down. And also when you're doing this, just think about squeezing tight through the glutes as you do it, pushing up. And a really good tip is try and keep the toes slightly off the ground, so you're pushing all the weight is coming through the heels. That just means then you're really engaging deep into those glutes. That's good, we're nearly done. Let's just keep going. Squeeze it up and then back. All right, so let's now come over onto your opposite side. We're going to work the other leg. So take your time to come into position. That bottom leg can actually be slightly bent, doesn't have to be completely straight. That hand in front for balance and back. So we're just bringing that leg in front for 20 reps, and really make sure again here you work that fullest range of movement. Try and get that leg as far in front as you can. This is also really good at developing hamstring flexibility, which is a muscle that runs through the back of the upper thigh from the hip down to the knee. That's it. Okay, well done. And let's just keep going. Well done. And again, just make sure you are bringing that leg as far in front as it will go. Aiming to get the foot in line with the hip. You're doing really well. And remember, that leg doesn't need to be high, so it's literally about 6 inches off the ground. Okay, so let's come back over onto the hands and knees, and then we're going to come back down onto your forearms. So remember, tummy stays tight, leg extended. Let's go for 20 reps. So we lift it up and back. Keep your toes pointed on the leg that you're extending up. And it's really easy in this position just to let those tummy muscles relax. So it's a good opportunity here to work those abs at the same time. Just think, pull them in tight. Also think about where we're lifting and sculpting. We're sculpting through the bottom. So keep those toes pointed and really squeeze tight at that highest point when you've got that leg up nice and high. Okay, that's good. Nearly done on this one. Fantastic. Okay, so guess what? We're going to do it all again because it's all about that booty. So let's come back to that first position and we're going to go back for doing that bridge. So we're going to have knees bent, feet flat on the floor, palms facing up, and just squeeze up as tight as you can for me now for 20. And also, I know I say it a lot in my videos, but the beauty of toning exercises, these workouts are also really good for helping with calorie burning as well, because the more toned your muscles are, then the more calories they burn on an hourly rate. So this is not just about toning, it is also about really getting into shape as well. Okay, that's good. So let's keep that going, squeeze that tight, keep those toes slightly lifted so you're really pushing that weight, you're driving it up through the heels, pushing those hips up as high as you can. Okay, that's good, keeping that going. All right, let's now come over onto your side. And as I said, I'm not using a mat, but I do recommend that you do. And that top leg's about 6 inches off the ground now. You're going to bring it in front and then squeeze a little way behind. We're just doing 20 repetitions, so squeeze it in front. And again, you can work those tummy muscles just by keeping them pulled in nice and tight is going to help to tone through that area as well. Bring that leg in front and then squeeze back. Well done. Let's keep going. Keep thinking of all those benefits. And remember, if it's really starting to feel challenging, that's when it's exciting, because what that means then, is that we are really now going to be starting to tone those muscles. And that is such an important thing with exercise. If it doesn't feel challenging, then you need to keep going until it does feel challenging. Okay, doing really well. And each time you'll find, you can probably now on this second round, I bet you can bring that leg further in front because we will have already developed a little bit more flexibility in your hamstrings. All right, so let's come back over now onto the hands and knees, leg extended up onto the forearms, 20 reps. Lift it up, so working into that glute, squeeze tight, toes stay pointed. Keep going. That's it, you're doing really well. Just imagine I'm there training with you. We're doing this together. We're going to get amazing results. Okay, that's good. And it's the last time of doing that one today as well. And just make sure we're still keeping the toes pointed, squeezing that up as tight as you can, filling that through the glutes, tummy stays tight. Good, lift and then lower. Okay, so let's come around now. So we're going to come back onto your back. Your knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor, and then we're just going to get ready to lift those hips up. Have your palms facing up and just lift up. So nice and high for 20 reps for me. Squeeze it up as tight as you can, lift and back down. So your aim is to push your hips up as high as you can. Squeeze it up and back and feel that through the bottom as you push up. That's good. And just keeping the toes slightly lifted. Lift that through and back. Okay, well done. That's good. You're doing really well. Keeping that going. Okay, so let's come back round now onto your opposite side. And so that bottom leg can be slightly bent if you want. That top leg's only 6 inches or so off the ground, toes are pointed. And for 20 reps, let's bring that leg in front and squeeze that back. Bring it in front and back. And the reason why we're spending longer doing these than we did on my 4-minute HIIT workouts, these ones are what I call isolated. So we're not using as many muscles. That's why with my cardio and HIIT ones, they're quick workouts because I just make sure we're doing moves that engage loads of muscle groups. So we're working the lower body, the arms, everything all at once. They're more like total body moves, whereas these are more specific to isolating certain body parts. That's why it's the Tone Every Zone series. Okay, well done. All right, so we're going to come back around now onto those forearms. So on your knees, there we are. and drop down. And now let's take that leg behind, and now we're just going to extend it up straight and back. So again, 20 reps for me. Squeeze everything as tight as you can. Imagine that leg is working through resistance. Lift it up and back down. It's good, squeezing that through and back. Keeping that as tight as you can. Keep thinking of those benefits. And with this, because we've worked the glutes through several different ranges of motion, that's where not only are you going to lift, we're going to draw it in, everything. That's where we get that perfect peach by using all these different ranges of motion. Okay, amazing. Well done. Okay, so well done. That is your workout complete. But remember, if you didn't find it challenging, you know what I always say, you can just simply repeat that routine again, because it is important to always make sure at the end of every workout that you have felt challenged. Once you have felt challenged, which you might find that just doing that routine that we've just done now is adequate for you, so that's perfect. But what is really important once you have finished is in one of these corners up here, there will be a link to my cool down stretches. Just follow those, because what that helps to do is it just kind of realigns the body, and it just makes sure you don't have any really too much muscle soreness the following day. And also make sure you drink plenty of water, and then as your trainer you can be accountable to me and let me know on social media that you've done the workout, and you can use these tags on social media. So you can do this one, done, then Lucy's squad, and then Lucy's tone zone. And if you like the workout, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, so then every day when I'm running these challenges, you'll get a notification to come and start training with me. So well done, and I'll see you tomorrow, because we're going to be toning a completely different zone.